Hello there, a very good evening. It's another beautiful Wednesday and time for a get-together, if you know what I mean. Well, the political scene is getting more and more interesting. What does this tell us? That 2019 is around the corner, the election year. So, what do you expect? Political stories on the package tonight. In the past few days, the passage of the electoral budget has dominated national discourse. Now, the process has begun. We have the stories. You know, on Wednesdays, the Federal Executive Council sits and does good things to put the nation's development to the next level. Today is no exception. Some communities will smile as they are at the receiving end of the goodies. Of course, back to the political arena, we shall tell you more about who is rooting for who in 2019 general elections. Lagos, we're told, is not an easy city to live in. How true is this? Find out from Lagosians. These plus some business news, agriculture and social welfare. Something has happened at the U.S. Embassy that travelers to that country might not like. Find out. Don't think we have forgotten about the companion segments that brings you tidbits of the foreign scene and updates in the sports world. Now, let's not dwell on the prospects. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. As I always say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. You're welcome to News Extra. Now, we begin with the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. The Federal Executive Council has given approval for the augmentation of an existing road contract in Enugu State from an initial sum of 10.3 billion naira in 2012 to 15.734 billion naira. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi was there and brings us the details.
Is the series of roads captured as Umana, Indiagu, Agba, Ebenebe, Amansi, Oka, and spurs to Umumba Road in Section 2 in Enugu State.
Minister of Power Works and House and Babatunde Fashola was the only one that got through with his request, and he gives reasons for this augmentation.
Because of lack of appropriate budgeting and funding, all of these projects could not be completed. There were also failures in the implementation as we inherited it. There was also the need to provide for erosion control measures and drains. So that has led to a revision of the existing contract.
Babatunde Fashola explains that the contract for the roads was awarded in 2012, and these are spurs of the Enugu-Onitsha Highway to 6 different communities. This augmentation, he says, would allow the completion of these roads. The Federal Executive Council meeting was presided over by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
In the meantime, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has inaugurated various projects worth 5 billion naira constructed in various parts of Zamfara State with a charge on beneficiaries to imbibe the maintenance culture. The inauguration of the projects, which cuts across various sectors, is part of activities marking the 7th year of Governor Yari's administration. Halluru Umar has more on that report.
The project inaugurated by the acting president include a general hospital, renovated, expanded, and provided with modern equipment to improve healthcare delivery system. Others are reconstructed Abubakar Chino Model Primary School, Government Girls College, and a 12.8-kilometer bypass road all in Talatam Mafara local government area. The acting president commended the Zamfara state government for the provision of the facilities despite the security challenges facing the state.
I'd like to reiterate the total determination of the federal government to support and work with the state government to permanently deal with and defeat these challenges. and to ensure that this state remains a promising land of agriculture, of commerce, of tourism, and hospitality.
Governor Abdulaziz Yari says the projects were informed by his desire to impact positively on the lives of the people in the state. He also applauded the federal government's initiative of deploying additional troops to intensify the fight against armed bandits in the state.
We hope this tempo will be sustained so that our state will be able to reclaim its lost glory by being the most peaceful state, hospitable throughout the Federation.
The project inaugurated were among the over 200 executed by Governor Abdulaziz Yari administration. In Gusau, Halir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
Well, beyond the expression, road construction as an infrastructure phenomenon, the roadmap to strengthen linkages by the federal government is rekindling hope for the people across Nasarawa, Benue, Plateau, Bauchi and Gombe states, following commitments of fixing their highways to promote social integration and economic development. Hamza Musa Makarfi, who has been following this development, now gives us a situation report.
As in the center characterized by sustaining attention and quality infrastructure, so it is expected for the states as hallmark of bridging through federalism. When more than 670 kilometers of roads crisscrossing the north central and northeast come to fruition, profound changes to all economic sectors are expected to manifest.
Road development remains crucial to agricultural development in Nigeria.
This shows that the government has the interest of the people at heart, and we are indeed very, very appreciative.
When government will prepare the road for us, life, we will get more life and enjoying the road. There's nothing like accident.
To the people of Akwanga town, the connecting hub to all the areas of the road contracts within the axis and beyond is a pledge to support the government without recourse to unnecessary agitation, says the Chumada, the paramount ruler of the community.
I don't have any problem with that at all. A handful of surveyors came around. This is a development I've not seen over decades.
In a wider context, the Nasarawa state government is also talking to communities along the routes on their expected roles, just as the leadership in other benefiting states are doing to their people.
To quickly support and enhance the commencement of this project so that you would have a brand new road that will open opportunities for commercial, business, education, and what have you.
As the federal government goes to work, stakeholders say the new focus of the Buhari administration on roads development in the country is a testimony that will stand the test of time. In Lafia, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
Now, with 184 days to the 2019 general elections, it has become imperative that the Electoral Commission is provided with funds for timely preparations. To that effect, the Senate Committee on INEC has commenced scrutiny of 189.2 billion naira budget for the 2019 general elections, as presented by INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Umko tells us more.
A free, fair and credible election begins with adequate and timely preparations, and that basically falls under the purview of the Electoral Commission. This perhaps is the preoccupation of the Commission, especially against the backdrop of series of by-elections it has held over the period and still with more to cope with within the current year 2018, coupled with the preparations for the 2019 general elections by the electoral body. This presupposes that INEC has a lot on its hand within the time limit before the nation towards 2019. This budget defense was in response to the call by all sections of the country and interest to ensure that INEC is financially empowered to begin preparations for the election. The Commission's chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, presented a breakdown of the proposal and why it is higher than the 2015 election budget of 120 billion naira.
The budget is broken down into 4 components. We have the electoral cost, the operational cost, and that is 134.4 billion. And that is meant for the procurement of sensitive and non-sensitive materials, the allowances, payment of allowances, the election technology cost, and that is 27.5 billion. It's about IT-related procurement. The election admin cost, and that admin cost is 22.6 billion. There is a difference of 69 billion naira. What is responsible for this difference? First, in 2015, we had a voter population of about 70 million. Then you have a little over 82 million registered voters as we go into the 2019 general election. This will increase.
The Senate committee demanded some explanations from the INEC chairman, especially on issues of voter registration and education, and why the reduction in allocation for contingency.
Mr. Chairman, continuous voters registration is of great concern to Nigerians, because there seems to be increased confidence in many people wanting to exercise their right.
In relation to the same provision that we have made in the EPP budget that is before this distinguished committee, is there a duplication? Hasn't the National Assembly appropriated enough for the exercise? My response is as follows, and I want to take us a little back. Distinguished senators will recall that in 2017, you appropriated the sum of 1.2 billion for continuous voter registration. And the Electoral Act says that we should register voters continuously, not intermittently, meaning all year round.
The National Assembly is seriously committed to ensuring that we give all the necessary support to INEC to ensure free and fair election, and we ensure that the necessary budgetary allocations have been given to INEC.
At the end of the ongoing budget defense, the committee is expected to present its report at plenary for consideration and approval. From the National Assembly, Nations, NTA News.
And from the House of Representatives, issues relating to proposals of permanent voters' cards, disparity in number of constituencies for political seats, as well as duplication of requirement data, dominated interaction between the House Committee on Electoral and Political Parties Matters when management of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, appeared before it to defend the supplementary budget for the year 2019 general elections. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the details.
This is the first time in the country's political history that the Independent National Electoral Commission is appearing before the House Committee on Electoral and Political Parties Matters for Budget Defense. The defense hearing highlights the commitment of stakeholders to ensure that due process and the rule of law are not only prioritized but adhered to in ensuring transparency and credibility in the entire electoral process.
It is also important that the budget of INEC be made to show more widespread public accountability and transparency of the Commission, which is a significant reform in itself.
The supplementary budget proposal for the 2019 general elections amounting to over 189 billion, 69 billion naira above the budgeted sum for 2015 general elections, elicited questions from the lawmakers.
During the 2015, where some of the INEC staffs are complaining about they don't have diesel, they don't have petrol also. So I want you to look at this amount very well, 105 million.
23 additional political parties were unveiled, and to ask him, because this budget has been submitted much earlier before the 23 new parties were unveiled, and to ask if this has been taken into consideration.
We have registered over 12 million new voters. I want to know, when will the permanent voters card be given to them?
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu says the proposed sum compared to money spent on elections by some other African democracies with far less population is reasonable in view of the sheer number of the registered voters in Nigeria, which at the moment stands at over 82 million.
Managing elections in reality requires a lot of improvisation. But we have made provision in a systematic way in this budget that this is the way we want to respond from the experience of holding elections in the past. For instance, in Bayelsa, we not only have to hire boats. Honorable, you know that we have to hire gunboats.
With just about 6 months to February 16, 2019, which is the commencement date for the general elections, the House assures of speedy scrutiny and subsequent passage of the supplementary budget. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In the meantime, members of the National Assembly have been advised to put behind their personal interest and uphold the national interest by reconvening the National Assembly to consider executive communications. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria reiterated this while discussing the topic, breaking the impasse in the National Assembly. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
Nigerians have continued to react to the decision of the National Assembly not to reconvene as expected on Tuesday. Some say this action is not in the interest of the country as a whole, knowing that the 2019 general elections are fast approaching. Part of the issues on the program is the need for the Senate President Bukola Saraki to follow the path of Senator Godswill Akpabio by resigning, urging politicians not to unnecessarily overheat the polity for their own good alone at the detriment of the people.
I think what we are descending into now is more or less getting into hate speech by one party against the other. And that is frightening because it's overheating the polity.
The Senate itself, with due respect to them, they are not totally, not all of them, but most of them are not totally honest with Nigerians. It seems that personal interest has overridden the national interest, and they are trying to load it on everybody.
The guests agreed that the National Assembly is the lifeline of the people, and therefore they should listen and yield to the pressure of the people by reconvening to address salient issues before it, especially the INEC budget.
I want to call on the Senate, I want to call on the House of Representatives to look at Nigeria, to look at the project that is ahead of Nigeria, the 2019 election, the welfare of the people, and they need to fast track because the efficacy and efficiency of any legislature is measured in terms of its capacity to come forth with proactive legislations, laws for the good governance of the particular political entity. This seems to be lacking in this scenario.
Even if the National Assembly were to pass INEC budget, it is just an infinitesimal part of it. It doesn't solve the problem because the Independent National Electoral Commission cannot conduct election without the backing of the other security agencies.
In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
You know Nigerians and their penchant for last-minute rush? Well, INEC is about to contend with this as Nigerians are beginning to besiege various registration centers to obtain their permanent voters' cards. Even though the deadline for the closure of the exercise has been moved to the end of the month, INEC in Kano is not taking chances as it has increased the registration centers from 44 to 76. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, however, reports that the Commission needs to increase its staff strength to cope with the situation.
Kano State had additional 32 registration centers designated by the Independent National Electoral Commission for the 2 weeks extension of the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise. Eligible voters besieged such centers to obtain their permanent voter's card before the deadline. Some of them complained of inadequate manpower.
They collect our name, they don't even call our name.
I didn't do my own. All people that never do their own.
Almost 6 or 7 I'll be here. If I come, if they reach my turn, they will say they will not do again.
So unless and only when you have, you're able to get this card, that is when you have that power.
However, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Kano said, in view of the importance attached to the exercise, the Commission is addressing critical areas that may hamper the smooth conduct of the exercise.
With those challenges, the Commission has tried a lot in expanding and sending additional machines out to assist in registering people.
The Commission also decried non-collection of permanent voter cards in the state.
We have about 530,000 cards for people to come and collect throughout the state.
Muhammad Rabi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the allegations that President Muhammadu Buhari declined assent to the bill because of objections to the use of card readers have been described as baseless. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari has always been a passionate advocate for the use of PVCs and card readers in elections in Nigeria, mindful of the role that card readers and PVCs played in the election that brought him into office. Up ahead, more support for President Muhammadu Buhari as for 2019 as his spouse gets honored for service to humanity. These and more after these messages.
Smartphone Network.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Admissions for 2018-2019 academic session is ongoing. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
My promise to my child. I am not your friend. I am your mother. I will stalk you, debate you, and hunt you down if I have to. Because when it comes to protecting you, there's no such thing as too tough. That's why every night, I insist on Baygon Multi-Insect Killer for tough mosquito protection before bedtime, so I know my loved ones can fall asleep protected. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris. Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility. This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
We're glad to have you join us again on News Extra tonight. Generation of employment opportunities has been a thing of concern to both government and the governed in every developing economy. It is clear that the contemporary society, government alone cannot provide the needed employment opportunities for the teeming youths. So to make youths employable, the Industrial Training Fund is advocating that the development of human capacity in vocational skills is one of the best things that can happen to any nation. Olayinka Ojo tells us more.
For more than 46 years, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been promoting and encouraging the acquisition of skills in industry and commerce with the view to generating a pool of indigenous trained manpower to meet the needs of most sectors of the economy. But despite federal government's effort at ensuring millions of Nigerians acquire both vocational and technical skills, which will in turn create more jobs, reduce poverty through its economic recovery and growth plan, the projection that by 2050, the population of Nigeria will be about 500 million is an issue that needs critical attention. This is why the Director General ITF, Joseph Ari, is advocating the inclusion of skills and technical education in the curriculum of primary to tertiary levels.
If a student goes through the four corners of the university, an engineering student, for example, and does not know about the equipment he is meant to work with in industries, he becomes a substandard material.
With the federal government diversification programs lubricating companies and bringing them to life, the ITF boss noted that 925 trades are difficult to fill in the country's labor market due to lack of requisite skills. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has congratulated the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, on his conferment with the 2018 Michael Hill Prize by the International Society for the Reform of Criminal Law in Montreal, Canada. Justice Walter Onnoghen was honored at the 31st Conference of the Society, an international non-governmental association of judges, legislators, lawyers, academics, governmental officials, police and corrections professionals. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Office of the Acting President, Laolu Akonde, says Professor Osinbajo noted that the award was a recognition of Onnoghen's commitment to the development of the country's judicial system. It is heartwarming to see Justice Onnoghen's hard work and commitment to deepening reforms for a more effective administration of justice system in the country. Receives international attention and commendation for such a prestigious association. Well, give honor to whom honor is due. This is what readily comes to mind as wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, unveils newly equipped multimedia seminar hall in Abuja University, South Korea. The honor done her is a recognition of her contributions to the educational development of women and Nigeria and children in Nigeria. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir was there, and he brings us the story.
This is the unveiling of the newly equipped electronic multimedia seminar hall at the Abuja University, Swansea in the Republic of Korea, named after the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. The uncommon gesture, according to the university echelon, is to recognize Mrs. Buhari's efforts in ensuring stability of the education of women and children in Nigeria and to serve as a model for the world leaders to emulate the gesture and her leadership role in promoting healthy lifestyle as well as better education for all.
It is an honor to have an opportunity that the College of Humanities, Abuja University, dedicates a seminar hall to Mrs. Buhari, naming it Aisha Buhari Hall, in recognition of our endeavor to protect human rights and educate people.
While appreciating this laudable initiative, the wife of the president emphasized on the need for more collaboration of all stakeholders in shouldering responsibilities of serving humanity. She added that together the future of the younger generation is bright.
Having known Nigeria as a giant of Africa, the most populous country in Africa, with a population of over 180 million people. No amount of universities, no amount of hospitals and IT centers will be too much in Nigeria. So our doors are open for both public and private collaborations.
Other stakeholders applauded the efforts of the wife of the president and assured her of their continued support in her quest of improving the lives of women, children, and other vulnerable groups in the society.
The extension of her legacy is far, far away from our home country. To us, is the greatest achievement.
In Swansea, the Republic of Korea, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress APC has called the attention of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, security and civil society agencies to monitor the People's Democratic Party PDP in the upcoming Osun State governorship election and the 2019 general elections. In a statement by the acting National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Yekini Nabena, the party alleged that the PDP has vowed to win the Osun election and the 2019 general elections by all means. The APC says when it learned of the shocking disclosure, it initially doubted its veracity and dismissed it as one of the fake news in circulation until further checks confirmed that the statement was actually issued by the PDP national spokesman, Kola Ologbodiyan. The PDP, the statement added, needs to be reminded of the new realities as succinctly captured by President Muhammadu Buhari, that the old Nigeria is slowly but surely disappearing and a new era is rising. The pride of every nation and people is to be respected and be counted great in the Committee of Nations. This many say Nigeria enjoyed in the past, where the green passport had its pride of place. However, due to bad leadership and corruption, the nation's reputation went down. Interestingly, the narrative is changing, especially in the last 3 years, based on what people attribute to political will, commitment to building strong institutions, and the pursuit for national interest. It's over now to Talatu Ezerike for more.
Nigeria, a land blessed with rich and human natural resources, was in the 60s to 80s the preferred destination for investment based on focused leadership that translated to growth. The story, however, changed over time due to factors that include bad leadership and corruption, giving rise to insecurity, depressed economy, and agitations. Many schools of thought are therefore happy with steps taken to tackle the trend in the last 3 years, which is yielding results with international commendations.
In terms of corruption, Nigeria has a reputation, as you understand very well, for very massive corruption. I also know that the president has been able to cut that down very substantially. They have made a lot of progress.
And that credibility that he has and that respect that he has inured to the benefit of Nigeria. The president is one of the strongest brands that this country has. And he's not wedded to the idea that it has to be him, or he has to be re-elected, or he needs to have this position. And I think that's what foreign leaders like about him.
There are lessons to be learned from President Muhammadu Buhari's people-oriented government and diplomatic drive.
Mr. President is seen as a Democrat to the core, as a person that believes in the rule of law, and as a person that believes in constitutional order. This is clearly evidenced by the fact of his non-interference in the emergence of the leadership of the National Assembly.
The government of General Buhari is doing, and what we are doing here in Kaduna, is to make sure that we reverse the trend of policy from being few specific to general specific. And that's what the Nigerian elite is fighting.
So for Mr. President to be able to have weld the country together from that precipice where we were before to now gives him out as an exemplary diplomat. One of the first things he did when he came into office was to say, hey, we have to bring Nigeria back to the forward line they had always occupied.
The general interest is to build a stronger nation, and these experts say can be achieved through right actions and synergy for overall growth. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
Well, the electioneering periods in Nigeria are always characterized by interesting scenarios, antics, and maneuvers. With the 2019 elections here with us, we are witnessing intrigues at the federal and state levels, all geared towards capturing power. With all these, groups are also springing up in support of their choices. In Taraba State, there are the Mama Taraba Frontiers and coalition of APC support groups that are strategizing to ensure that President Muhammadu Buhari stays on in the Asovela. The groups at a media briefing say they are convinced that the president is the best option considering his performance so far. Christy Ayagwa Adaji shares their convictions with us.
More groups in Taraba State have continued to drum support for President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid. The latest is the Mama Taraba Frontiers and a coalition of all APC support groups who are drawn from different religious backgrounds with the sole purpose of ensuring the actualization of the president's second term in office.
Nigerians are witnessing a holistic war against corruption, insecurity, which are critical for attaining the hallmark on in-savage development.
All the organizations of APC in Taraba State have come together to endorse President Muhammadu Buhari.
While they continue to give reasons for supporting the president's re-election bid, the group called on electorates not to be deterred by any amount of campaign of calumny against the president, but should get their PVCs ready to return him in 2019. Like President Muhammadu Buhari, the groups also endorsed the Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development, Senator Aisha Jummai Al-Hassan, as their governorship candidate of the state.
We are satisfied and convinced by her style of leadership, and we believe that she's the only person that can salvage Taraba from the bad governance.
The groups, however, called on all Tarabans to join in the unanimous endorsement of President Muhammadu Buhari and Senator Aisha Jummai Al-Hassan to reap more dividends of democracy. In Jalingo, Christy Ayagwa Adaji, NTA News.
And still talking about politics, as the 2019 general elections draw nearer, the Buhari National Student Support Group has rolled out President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard, especially as it affects the younger generation. National coordinator of the forum, Comrade Anyebe Dominic, while addressing a World Press Conference, emphasized the need for Nigerian youths to support the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari to continue the good work he has started. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu was there and now reports.
Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights.
Since President Muhammadu Buhari assumed the mantle of leadership, he has been rolling out youth empowerment programs ranging from skills acquisition to farming, as well as social investment programs, among others. The Buhari National Student Support Group says youths across the country had never enjoyed these unprecedented youth empowerment programs. Hence, their resolve to sensitize the youth on the need to support continuity of President Buhari's administration for the benefit of the younger generation. Coordinator of the forum reiterated their commitment to canvass more support for Buhari's re-election through the social media, door-to-door contact and visitation to various higher institutions of learning.
We urge all Nigerians, not just Nigerians, youth, students, women and parents and fathers alike, to also support and vote for Buhari and Osibajo 2019 for the better future of Nigerian youth and students.
So doing justice in our various campuses, bringing female comrades together and seeing how we can mobilize and encourage them to join the movement, since it is enhancing productivity and development in the country.
The Buhari National Student Support Group is spread in all the 36 states of the Federation. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Homegrown solution to oil and gas challenges on the way, as correspondent looks at rice production in Borno State with an eye for export. Don't go away. We'll bring you the details shortly.
We have a challenge. My husband has a big interview, but his shirts aren't cleaning well.
Don't panic, Ngozi. Just use Good Mama. Good Mama's extra cleaning power removes all dirt, leaving a wonderful scent. Look, whites are white, colors are bright, and extra fresh.
Now in a 1 kg pack.
He got the job?
What do you think?
Obvious.
Good Mama knows best.
Give me the value pack. Helen!
You do great value shopping.
Absolutely. I'm a champion at getting value.
Then you must have bought the Harpic 200 ml.
Why Harpic when I have
this? Even after applying them 10 times, they won't give a sparkling clean toilet.
Impossible.
Challenge. Detergent and bleach can't give a sparkling clean toilet even after 10 times. But Harpic 200 ml gives a sparkling clean toilet at one go.
Wow.
Harpic 200 ml. Real deal. Now only 200 naira.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You're welcome back. News Extra is reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. We now take a peep into the business world. Nigeria headline inflation drops to 11.14% year-on-year for the 18th consecutive time. 2018 federal government bond auctioned by the Debt Management Office (DMO) on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange oversubscribed as investors' confidence in the capital market dipped further following a 0.62% depreciation in the all-share index. Let's join Abolade Salabi for details of these and other stories in our business news segment.
We join us on the business news segment. The July inflation figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that consumers' price index dropped from 11.23% to 11.14% on a year-on-year basis, while the headline index on month-on-month basis also declined from 1.24% in June to 1.13% in the month of July, thereby representing the first time month-on-month headline inflation declined since February. Economic experts, however, attribute the steady headline inflation decline to current stability in exchange rates, as well as the federal government's economic policies.
This is good news. It's a good news because investors and even stakeholders in the private sector are happy about this. It increases our confidence. We will keep on tracking the trend, inflation trend, especially in the light of some pressure we believe will face the price level over the next few months. Over the next few months, we want to see whether the current trend in the inflation will continue, where inflation will likely hit single digit. Policymakers know exactly what to do. They gear up to see that they manage this success we've achieved as far as inflation rate is concerned.
The use of information and communication technology in everyday life cannot be overemphasized. However, in recent time, it's been observed that the cyberspace is increasingly becoming unsafe, as many businesses, companies, and individuals are being swindled by cybercrime. A risk management analyst says globally institutions lost over $3 trillion between 2015 and 2017 to cybercrime, while Nigerian banks between 2000 and 2013 lost over 159 billion naira to electronic fraud and cybercrime, often perpetrated through text and electronic messaging.
You will find out that cybercrime as a system of economy has actually grown to be the 13th highest GDP across the world. It does imply that is not something that should be taken for granted, because it cascades not just about BVN issues and all that. It cascades with fraud and a lot of other things that are attached to it. The cybercrime war will be costing the world about $6.0 trillion. The BVN aspect actually came to forestall this, but what's happening to it once again? In fact, even the CBN themselves, even some of them, have been defrauded.
Meanwhile, the federal government's 90 billion naira bond auction issued by the Debt Management Office for August was oversubscribed. The bond offered in 3 tenors of 5, 7, and 10 years was oversubscribed. The total subscription received from bidders at the auction were above 100 billion naira. The auction and proceeds will provide additional finance for the implementation of the 2018 budget. Let's now leave you with graphic details of how stocks were traded on the floor of the exchange today. Stock market report concludes business news. News Extra continues shortly. Please stay with us.
Now, why do we have frequent cases of oil spills due to systems failure despite the certified quality of such pipes for oil transportation? Another issue in the oil and gas industry is the huge amount of money spent on importing zeolite catalyst for the nation's refineries. These and other related issues have become a source of worry to the Petroleum Technology Department Fund as it rises up to the challenge. Let's hear Mayor Ogidi on how these issues are being tackled.
Nigeria, with an estimated oil reserve of about 37.2 billion barrels, with 4 refineries and a total processing capacity of 4,500 barrels per day, consume approximately 1,600 tons of zeolite catalyst every day. 500 tons of zeolite catalyst at an estimated cost of 5 billion naira is imported every year, while the country has the potential to develop zeolite catalyst. This no doubt increases the production cost of the refineries in the country. Another issue is the increasing rate of oil spills due to systems failure. In order to find a solution to these and other problems in the oil and gas industry, Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, gave out research grants to institutions to carry out holistic research on 6 key areas, including production of oil and gas facilities, control of wax deposition during production of crude oil, geological evaluation of mapping of potential source rock in Sokoto Basin, and the development of zeolite catalyst. After about 6 years of research work, the researchers are being examined. At the end, PTDF nods in affirmation.
Hitherto, this country has been importing catalyst for the refining process. And one of the researchers has developed a zeolite catalyst for the purposes of import substitution and using 100% local materials.
A lot of industry, international oil companies have shown interest in the work they are doing, and so we are developing the complete template for the commercialization.
And at the end of the day, PTDF will come up with the final proposals and present them to the oil and gas industry. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Now, the drive to promote the patronage of made in Nigeria products is definitely paying off. Have you watched the Zebrodaya and Friends advert on Made in Nigeria rice? The stage the country is now is to make sure that enough is produced so that it will go round. Now, this is what the federal government's Anko Borrowers program is all about: to boost food production, raise the standard of living of farmers, and generate employment. Now, generate employment and water chain food production raise standard of living, and generate employment. Now that's fantastic. But the better news here, however, is that this Anko Borrowers Initiative is revolutionizing rice production in Borno State. Oyinaya Kalu Oka says, if what is happening there is sustained, Nigeria would soon be exporting rice. Oyinaya, tell us more.
Day breaks in Kadamari, a farming community in Jere local government area, Borno State, so the residents hurried to the farm to cultivate their rice. 75-year-old Malam Ismail Abubakar is among the 30,000 beneficiaries of the federal government's Anko Borrowers program in Borno State.
This farmland is secured, and apart from this farm, I have another of about 5 kilometers.
For these farmers, cultivating thousands of hectares of land for rice production in both dry and rainy seasons, farming has never been more productive than now.
In Gongolo, Gonori, in Jere local government in Meduguri, and we are in about 200 hectares of farm. You can see how wide this place is. And this particular rice farm has employed hundreds of people who ordinarily would have been idle doing nothing.
Farming helps me in feeding, paying school fees for my children and other needs.
With government support in providing tractors, improved seedlings, pesticides, and more importantly, tackling security challenge, farmers in Borno State say they have been able to expand their farmland and also doubled yields.
The chain value has greatly improved the living standard. So, in fact, the program is welcome. We commend the president, in fact, for initiating this program. And believe me, we have succeeded in this program.
Statistics revealed that the federal government released about 45.5 billion naira for more than 218,000 farmers cultivating rice across 30 states of the federation. This, they say, is yielding results as rice importation has dropped by 95%.
So we're expecting by the time we give out about 100 billion, the importation of rice, we even start exporting rice to our neighboring countries and to other countries.
In Borno State, the level of foreign rice consumption has reduced as people now prefer homegrown rice.
Local rice has taste and lasts longer in storage. It is tasty and healthy.
With hearts filled with gratitude, farmers like Malam Ismail Abubakar commended government initiative, but pleads for the sustenance of the program. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Well, I tell you, Oyinia, being a farmer is not that easy. You've got to learn it. Moving on, the high premium placed on agriculture by the Buhari administration is no longer an issue for contention. Even in the gathering of those who don't like the government, the consensus is that the diversification drive is yielding results. Now, something big is brewing that will push the agricultural sector to the big league globally. Over 16,000 international agro-allied technologists are to converge on Osun State to advance better technologies for agro production. Already, accredited ambassadors and high commissioners of relevant countries and the organizers at all levels have started preparations for the mega event. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed has more on the story.
By November, rains might not be much in most parts of the country, but over 1 million farmers around the globe will be in Nigeria, ploughing their brains to fish out modern ways of farming technologies that will increase bumper harvests, not only to feed themselves, but also to export to other nations and earn monies for Nigeria. Since the assumption of President Muhammadu Buhari into office, the diversification of the agricultural sector has taken center stage in order to create more jobs for the teeming Nigeria youths. It has also helped to increase production of local rice with concurrent interest by Nigerians in the consumption of the product, which has reduced the importation of foreign rice.
This very important briefing is crucial as it will enable you to sensitize relevant agricultural machinery producers in your country to actively participate in the forthcoming events.
Nigeria, with a good climate where year-round farming is practicable, the forum will afford farmers opportunities to exchange ideas on the best agricultural practice where less manpower is needed in the cultivation of the land for the purpose of growing food crops.
Agritech Nigeria Osun 2018 is an international professional exhibition that offers a meeting place for all manufacturers, researchers, investors, academia, purchasers, and decision makers, representing both local and international interests.
Either in the last 2.5 years, the government has done a lot in trying to promote agriculture, and that has impacted even on the GDP in the country.
Quite a sizable number of the diplomatic corps in attendance were of the opinion that the agricultural conference will open doors for their agro-allied investors to showcase their potentials in the agri-business.
For us as South Africa, agriculture is one of the backbones of our economy, and we are certainly going to take heed to the call and the request by the Nigerian government.
To cap it all, the research institutes in the field of agroeconomy are not left out as they are making final preparations to board the train all the way to Osun 2018 Agri Exhibition to also offer their academic advice to better the agricultural sector in Nigeria.
The upcoming stakeholders exhibitions, we are going to make sure that we mobilize all the research institutes in Nigeria and the colleges of education of agriculture. So by the time the exhibition will come up around November, we'll all be there.
The Osun Agricultural Show, which is built to hold at the end of the year, is to have who is who in the world of agriculture. This forum will brainstorm on the challenges and way out for the agricultural sector in order to reduce the dependence on the oil sector. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NTA News.
Away from agriculture, the federal government, through its Ministry of Water Resources, has signed an agreement with the Kano State government to tackle water supply and sanitation challenges in the state. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu and Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduji signed the agreement under the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene in Abuja. Musbao Wahab was there.
The downward trend in the water and sanitation sector is alarming. Access to pipe-borne water has declined from 32% in 1990 to 7% in 2015, while only 29% of Nigeria's population has access to improved sanitation. Yet, the deadline for the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, is fast approaching. Kano State is now to benefit from P-Wash, one of the initiatives by this administration to upturn these unfavorable statistics as the federal government intervenes to assist state and local governments who have the responsibility to provide potable water to the people. Under this 15-year program, the federal government is mobilizing development partners, private sectors and NGOs to support governments at all levels to rehabilitate infrastructure and provide new facilities for holistic turnaround of the sector.
The P-Wash is a 15-year program that is divided into 3 phases. Upon full implementation of the 3 phases, it is planned to achieve 0% open defecation and 100% access to water supply, especially in the rural areas.
Kano State is the second after Ogun to sign these agreements as a flagship state selected from the 22 that subscribed to the P-Wash protocol.
The total volume of the partnership is in the region of 12.7 billion naira, which is a big amount of money. This daily shows the concern of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, has for our rural common people.
The success of this program in the 2 states is expected to pave way for others on first-come, first-served basis. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NC News.
Similarly, prospects for growth in the maritime sector is looking good by the 2018 half-year Nigerian maritime industry forecast. The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dakuku Peterside, says the forecast evaluates present and future political developments, local and international policies, as well as trends in the maritime. Joy Ken Abapoya reports that it is to serve as a compass for local and international investors.
Of NIMASA, Dakuku Peterside called the media to talk about how the agency has changed the maritime sector with emphasis on growing the potentials of the industry. There were quite a number of initiatives which included the industry forecast, which is expected to project emerging opportunities and challenges in the maritime industry. The Director General also revealed that in collaboration with other government agencies, some progress has been made in reviewing policies currently hampering the involvement of Nigerian companies in lifting Nigerian cargo, especially crude oil. Dr. Peterside says the agency has strictly enforced rules to keep away substandard vessels from the nation's waters. The issue of cabotage also came up, and the Director General said there are more wholly owned Nigerian vessels, while there has been a 55% increase in the number of seafarers employed.
We have been able to reduce maritime incidents to its barest minimum within the period under review. In terms of cabotage, we've grown the number of cabotage vessels owned by Nigerians. 125 vessels were registered within the period under review, and these 125 vessels are owned by Nigerians. Within the period under review, we're able to place 2,300 plus cadets on board. They now work in cabotage vessels in the country, which represents more than 58% increase.
The Director General says the agency has taken delivery of the 5th largest modular floating dockyard in Africa, which will enhance the country's capacity for docking of vessels. The vision of NIMASA is to build a world-class, high-performing organization that will meet the yearnings of clients and serve the interest of Nigerians. These recent achievements, the organization says, is on the path of achieving that plan. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abapoya, NTA News.
Nigeria's telecommunication giant Globacom has unveiled what it termed the mother of all offers, the Oga SIM, which gives data subscribers a whopping 125% bonus on all data bundles. James Ojukwu, who was at the unveiling of Oga SIM in Lagos, now reports.
Times are indeed here for prospective Glow data subscribers, as Glow is offering a jumbo bonus of 125% on all data bundles with just a dial of *777#. The beauty is that the bonus can be shared to family and friends.
Oga SIM is possibly the best SIM available in the country today. If we see what it offers is 125% bonus. And you know, today the generation is all about data. You're connecting through data. You need data for your offices. When you are at home, you need data. And with Oga SIM, all these things are made affordable and accessible as you're getting 125% more benefit.
With as little as 500 naira, a subscriber can enjoy 1.8 gigabytes of data, which can also be rolled over at the end of the month. Existing customers who have not used their SIM in the last 3 months are also eligible for the offer.
There is something for every budget, right? Starting from as little as 25 naira to as high as 20,000 naira. You're going to get 3.6 GB of data if you use 1,000 naira. And it keeps going up and up like that. If you get 2,000 naira, you're going to get 8.2 GB of data. With Glow, you can share your data to as many people, as many devices as you want.
Glow is constantly investing millions of dollars into expanding and upgrading of its network to boost its capacity towards providing excellent subscriber experience. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Stakeholders in public and private sectors have resolved to organize a West Africa Regional Summit to sensitize countries on the need to domesticate the General Data Protection Regulation in order to remain relevant in international business. The resolution was reached at high-level policy roundtable of the stakeholders to secure data and ensure trust between customs and organizations doing business on the internet. John Yaku has the details.
The growing rate of international trade through internet using personal data has exposed many people and business to insecurity. Coupled with the European Union adoption of General Data Protection Regulation in May this year, countries without GDPR will have difficulties doing business with Europe because of unprotected personal data. Stakeholders at this high-level policy roundtable in Abuja advocated measures to protect individuals and corporate private business data to reduce insecurity caused by manipulations.
The ECOWAS member states are obliged to comply with the legal provision put in place by Europe, which is today considered as a model to be followed.
A number of our member states to date have actually domesticated these laws. So it's pleasing to say that we're halfway there, but we're not quite there.
Though Nigeria has a number of regulatory bodies such as Cybercrimes Act 2011 and the CBN Consumer Protection Framework 2016, among others, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce believe that there is need to do more to secure data.
We and the private sector have opened the door for cooperation
with the existing government agencies, such as NIDA.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, however, calls for the harmonization of existing laws to conform with the General Data Protection Regulation.
Recommendations that will come from this meeting will help us to further push.
At the end of the roundtable, stakeholders agreed that the public and private sectors must work together towards its implementation in the sub-region. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is strengthening partnership with the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment towards a better service delivery. This was at a meeting between the Senior Special Assistant, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, and FRSC Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi in Abuja. Mitaire Ikpen has the details.
Following the signing of the executive order on the ease of doing business, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Ease of Doing Business has been engaging key players affected by the order towards achieving the desired results. It is in this regard that the presidential aide visited the Federal Road Safety Corps to canvass greater synergy to fast-track service delivery. Jumoke Oduwole applauded the FROSC for keying into the ideals of the executive order, which she said is evident in the speed with which staff of the Corps discharge their statutory obligations. She expressed confidence on the leadership of the FROSC in enhancing service delivery to the public. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said the interface between FROSC and other sister security agencies and paramilitary organizations in the country is encouraging, especially in the area of patrol, licensing of drivers and vehicles, as well as data capture of traffic offenders.
This was part of what we reviewed with them, and then once we see our activities now, know that these of doing business, the VIOs on drivers test, they need to domesticate something like this. Now that is things, but those who really have interface with the public must be compelled to have a kind of SOP that how they interface with the public.
The Corps Marshal said the introduction of the road transport safety and driving school standardization schemes, among others, are geared towards ensuring the ease of doing business. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
The U.S. Embassy matter is still pending, but let's take another breather. When we come back, we will find out if truly Lagos is a difficult city to live in.
Here's to the dreamers, the doers, the ones who feel everything but fear nothing, to those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls. Here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three put
You are welcome, sir.
as usual, yeah? I was.
You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
It's really good to know that you're out there watching. Give me a fish, I will eat for a day. Teach me to fish, I will eat for a lifetime. I'm sure you know that adage. It is in the spirit of teach me how to fish that thousands of internally displaced persons camped across Taraba State are receiving more assistance to enable them start fresh businesses. The latest is coming from the federal and Taraba State governments through the Fadama 3 additional financing project. Joseph Zanagambo reports that the IDPs have received crops and livestock.
Families affected by communal clashes that occurred in some states of the Northeast who are taking shelter in Taraba State have been identified by Fadama 3 additional financing program and have already started receiving support from the program to enable them start up new businesses. Items distributed to the displaced persons include bags of maize, rice, beans, and other crops to farmers, while those engaged in livestock farming were provided with cows, sheep, goats, pigs, and poultry to encourage them continue the businesses they are familiar with. The gesture is the second phase under the community action plans of the program to accommodate more beneficiaries across the state, in addition to rural infrastructure earlier provided to support benefiting communities. While distributing the assistance, the Permanent Secretary, Taraba State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Mr. Bujujit Njuma, expressed satisfaction with the quality of items provided and lauded the support of the World Bank in supporting the program. The program manager, Taraba State Agricultural Development Program, Dr. Anthony Maman, assured of government's commitment towards assisting the IDPs in various ways. The Taraba State coordinator of Fadama 3 project, Mrs. Regina Festus, said the program will continue to ensure all internet displaced persons in Taraba State benefit from the gesture.
And make sure they go about implementing all the trainings on their farms so as to get a better yield.
The affected families that received the assistance appreciated the federal government, World Bank, Taraba State government, and Fadama 3 project additional financing for the kind gesture, saying it would alleviate their suffering and make them self-reliant. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
Well, the word August, if you check it up in the dictionary, you will see inspiring, reference and admiration, majestic, safety, etc. What about the month of August? It is the 8th month of the year. It comes with many things to many people. To the Imo women, it is their homecoming period. And you know what that means? The August meeting. August is the month that is also characterized by heavy rainfall with flooding and other threats to the environment. It is in this month of August that Nomso Damian Dati decided to spend one rainy day with the internally displaced persons in New Kuchungoro camp in Abuja. Okay, Nomso, tell us about this day.
This is the New Kuchungoro IDP camp, set up 4 years ago with a population of over 2,000 people. It is still morning and the children are on holiday. Then the clouds begin to darken, as has become a common sight in Abuja, especially in August. Suddenly, the heavens open up. It is a heavy downpour, and everyone becomes stranded. The playing children In the school premises, the parents held up in their makeshift polythene and trampoline homes with either roofs or windows leaking, flash floods right in their midst. This is the situation most of these internally displaced persons find themselves in.
And this trampoline leader is, if you just buy it, just 1 month, 2 months, it don't finish. We are in dark. We have a solar system before it's working, but now it's not working. Up to 10 toilets, and we are about 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Then came a pleasant surprise. Some August visitors, young graduates, intellectuals, entrepreneurs, and professionals, sacrificing their leisure, time, and resources to give these vulnerable children a good time. Academically, socially, physically, and intellectually, these young people are determined to leave indelible footprints on the sands of time.
We hope to keep doing more, keep mobilizing more, and influencing other people to join us on this road to national development and evergreen Nigeria.
So our main aim is to bring about quality education to kids that have been affected by insurgency. So what we do is that we make sure we teach them courses that are carried out by the Nigerian curriculum, maths, English, everything, so they don't miss out on anything.
Help children that have been through abuse, who have been dealt a bad hand through no fault of theirs, so that we can help them through child labor, which is rampant in Nigeria.
So instead of just sitting around and waiting for something to come, it is much better to start something that will take you far.
What you do to your child at home is the same thing that applies to them here. Some of them need that love and affection and all that.
While the pleasantries of the first surprise were yet to be absorbed, another one came in, but this time the goodies are for both mothers and children.
I think anyone seeing over the television what is going on and should be moved, because we are humans. Anybody could find himself in that particular situation.
This is what life looks like in the IDP's camp, managing unventilated tents for the past 4 years, depending on the goodwill of kind-hearted Nigerians and appreciating every single gift, no matter how little. Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Many thanks, Momso, for that eye-opener. A lot needs to be done for the IDPs. Now, Lagos, Nigeria's bustling commercial city, prides itself as one of the most developed and exciting cities to live in. However, the 2018 Global Liability Index, released by the Economist Intelligence Unit, now claims that Lagos is the third worst city to live in out of the 140 cities surveyed. How true can this be? Hinjino John Adamu has been looking into the report with a cross-section of Lagosians.
Sprawling city with its signature flyovers, iconic bridges, modern institutions, cosmopolitan population, and exciting lifestyle, Lagos often prides itself as eco for show. However, the 2018 Global Livability Report by the Economist Intelligence Unit seeks to challenge this. Out of 140 cities evaluated, Lagos was ranked 138 and declared as the third worst city to live in. The parameters they used for evaluation include political and social instability, education, culture, environment, infrastructure, and access to health care. Lagos scored 38.5%, and this has generated substantial controversy.
If you compare it to all other cities all over other places in the world, to a large extent, I did agree. I agree with that submission.
Living in Lagos, socially, politically, economic-wise, take example the Ikorodu Road, the traffic coming to the island from the mainland is so difficult. We living in Lagos, we are seeing the other side of Lagos.
I don't think that the report is correct, because over the years, Lagos have been developing by the effort of the past administration and the current administration.
Successive administrations have sought to modernize Lagos, and the evidence is on the ground. Current efforts to substantially upscale the character, quantity, and quality of urban infrastructure have also been acknowledged.
There are a lot of infrastructure, they are building a lot of infrastructure on a daily basis. But that report, I don't know where they get their fact and figure from.
Everybody believes in Nigeria that Lagos is the only city where you can make a living faster due to the population. I think it's in Lagos where you sell or market anything in Lagos and you have someone to purchase from you. So due to this population, you see a lot of people coming in.
Lagos, like all other major cities in the world, does have its challenges, but over 20 million people still call this city home.
As the fifth largest economy in Africa, Lagos continues to thrive, and it speaks much about the resilience of the people and the intangible assets of the city. In Lagos, Hingido John Adams, NTA News.
Now, this is the last break, so whatever we promised has to come up. The U.S. Embassy matter, plus sports update and Thursday's weather outlook, which you can afford to miss, considering that it is August and the rains are pouring. We'll be right back.
Here's to the dreamers, the doers, the ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls, here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
You're welcome back. The United States of America Embassy in Abuja will temporarily suspend regular services for visa and American citizen services, but other offices within the embassy remain open. A statement from the Public Affairs section of the embassy indicates that consular functions at the U.S. Consulate Lagos are not affected and will continue until further notice. Applicants are encouraged to contact the consular office in Lagos for immediate and emergency travels. Applicants are to monitor the Facebook and web page of the U.S. Embassy for updates on consular operations, as scheduled visa applicants will be contacted for rescheduling. American citizens in northern Nigeria with emergency services should contact the after-hours emergency number for Abuja on 09-461-4000 and press 0 to go to the operator request assistance. The embassy regrets inconveniences caused to applicants and hopes to resume soon. And for a quick check on what's happening on the sporting world, it's over now to Amazimakos with the details.
The Abuja National Stadium is a national edifice constructed to host the 2003 All-Africa